So, yeah, awesome. When are you going to be heading out? Because of course, the fight's coming up and everything.
We plan on heading out next Thursday.
Very nice, very nice. I'm sure you're very excited, getting to travel again in some capacity.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to go to Singapore again.
When's the last time you were there?
The last time I was in Singapore would be for my brother's title defense last
Okay.
May.
What is some of your favorite things about Singapore? Because it's a really cool city, I think. A cool country, of course.
Yeah, Singapore is a beautiful city. We have a lot of relatives that are in Singapore, and I love the Singaporean food.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite food?
Oh, there's so many. I love the bak kut teh and the chicken rice, the laksa. Oh my God, I'm craving that right now.
Sorry to bring it up. I had to ask. uh, so, of course, the big thing about, you making your debut and everything is, of course, you're very young still, 16, right, at the moment. Definitely very crazy, something we don't see too often. And just what has like been the overall reaction to, you getting signed to one championship? Because it was a very big thing in the news, in the MMA world.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people are excited for me to make my debut.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you're still in school then, right? Because if you're 16, or are we done with school now and you're just on to, fighting and punching people in the face now?
um, I'm still a junior at Milani High School, and I plan on finishing and graduating
What-
this year or next year.
Is that kind of crazy to think about? Like, yep, I'm still in high school, but then I'm also going to be competing in one of the biggest MMA organizations in the world. Like, and I'm sure that, your classmates and stuff know about this now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I'm so lucky that I'm able to start my career this early. And I think it really helps with the online schooling.
Right.
So I get to be in the gym time. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the fact that, of course, the pandemic sucks right now, but that's a little bit advantageous to where you can balance things out, maybe easier than if you had to go to school as much as before. Is that fair to say?
yeah, because I do feel like we do get more training in during this quarantine period because um, from 8 to 10 in the morning, I get to train where as I would still be in school, and
Mhm.
at 2 to 4 in the afternoon, I get to train where I would just be starting my first session
Yeah,
if I was still in
definitely.
school.
Is, and, you know, has it been you've been in combat sports, for pretty much your whole life, as far as I know, right? So, like, has it been hard to have, a quote unquote like a normal kid life and enjoy a lot of the luxuries, I guess, of, growing up as a kid?
Well, I don't think so too much because I guess training martial arts for me and my siblings, the other kid growing up doing soccer, it's just
Mhm.
part of our daily routine. After school, we come home and we train, and on the weekends, we get to compete.
So, did you always kind of hope to, follow down your siblings' path of being MMA fighters? Was that always something like once they started doing it, you were like, oh, that would be awesome. I want to do it too.
Well, once I was able to watch my brother and sister compete, I thought that that was amazing. And it wasn't really until I got to compete in my first four championships where I really knew that that was the path that I wanted to take.
Right. I got to experience it a little bit yourself. And you have a background in pancration as one of your, martial arts that you've done, correct? So I'm very curious. That's something that it doesn't seem like nowadays on a global scale, at least from what I see, that people get into pancration too much, in the modern day. So like what attracted you to doing pancration?
Well, pancration is basically MMA, but for the juniors. So usually the kids they start off in pancration because it's safer. There's no head
Mm.
contact, and then as you get older, it's you get to go into MMA. And so I think we're lucky enough. that we have had that type of pretty close to that type of MMA experience where it's like the whole all the sports combined, wrestling,
Mhm.
boxing, jiu-jitsu, as a whole growing up, and then to transition a little easier into MMA.
And going right to the pros too, no amateur bouts, which I guess when you have this background you already have in all these other sports, like was that kind of thing where you're like, well, do I really need to do amateur? I'm pretty experienced with what I'm already doing.
Well, it wasn't the goal. It wasn't like my first choice to jump straight into pro.
Hmm.
However, it was always a dream of mine to compete in one championship because that is like the best organization, I believe. And when I was presented with the opportunity, I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah, it would be very difficult too. I mean, I can't imagine, being your age and then being approached by, such a big organization like one. So congratulations to you. It is really a cool thing that you're getting to do, I think. So, and I made myself sound very old there, but I'm not that old yet. But um, and just as for MMA overall, I'm sure that you've paid attention and watched it a good amount, but like you follow it pretty closely. Like, how much of a fan would you say you are, or is it just more of a participant?
Um, well, as I'm entering into the atomweight division, I'm following it a bit more closely.
Hmm.
But I also follow my sister and my brother's matches. Yeah, their matches as well.
Do you feel like too that since your brother and sister they have gone on to be very successful now, champions, obviously, does that provide any, extra pressure to kind of live up to the Lee name now because everybody's going to expect so much, from you coming in, even though you're still so young. So it's like, come on, guys, give her a break, just let her do her thing. But did you feel that at all, like the pressure to live up to their accomplishments?
No, I don't feel pressured by them. They're my role models. I look up to them. So it's like not pressure.
Hmm.
Our parents have taught us to run our own race and focus on our own journeys. So they just motivate and inspire me.
Yeah, right. So you're looking at it more as motivation, like it gives you a good picture of, oh wow, I can get there too, more than the pressure you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine that they've been helping you very, closely preparing for this and letting you know what it's like to fight in one. So just how closely have they been, kind of helping you out preparing for this? Of course, Angela, busy with the pregnancy right now.
Yeah. Both of my brother and sister, they have helped me in so many ways throughout this fight camp, from showing me new techniques and training with me, and even showing me new recipes because I'm dieting now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. What is that like? Is that a weird, is that one of the weirder things about, getting into a sport professionally like MMA is like, oh wow, gotta watch what I'm eating.
yeah, I wouldn't say that's the most fun part of this whole fight journey, but it's good, I guess, because my siblings can help, show me some meals aren't too that are tasty that I can actually eat.
Right, right. Definitely helps. You got to have some good meal prep, no matter what the case. But you're taking on Sunisa Srisen. Always struggle with her last name, but solid fighter, 4-1 if I'm correct. Good experienced opponent, I think, for your debut. So, like, just how much do you know about her? Have you, watched her fights at all? Of course, she fought Stamp pretty recently, but just what do you think of her as your debut opponent?
Yeah, I've watched both her professional and amateur fights. I think she's a very tough opponent. She's an aggressive striker and she has a beautiful face. I think that's her main strength.
So are you somebody who's kind of really into knowing what your opponents do? Because there's a lot of fighters who will be like really study really hard to game plan, right? And then there are others who will just let their coaches take care of it, right? Like, all right, you just tell me what to do. Do you fall into one of those sides, or do you think you need a good balance?
I think it's important to have a good balance. um, when my team strategizes against her, it's important that we're aware of all of her strengths and weaknesses. But in the end, it's important to focus on our game plan
Hmm.
and what we're gonna do in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely, because you can only control yourself, right? So makes plenty of sense there. And of course, without giving away your game plan specifically or anything, is there like some things that you're specifically hoping to go and show off though? Like whether it's, you know, I got knockout power, or like I got really good. My ground game's great. Is there something you're kind of really excited to let people know who Victoria Lee is with your first performance?
Well, I'm not going to show anything. I'm not going for showing like anything
Mhm.
specific, but I do predict that this will be a very high-paced match and that my hand will be raised in the end.
Of course, I would hope that would be your prediction. Right? You gotta believe in yourself. So, awesome. And it's interesting too, the fact that, as you mentioned, atomweight division, same division as your sister, Angela, who is the champion. With that in mind, like, is the goal right now just to rack up as much experience as you can? Like, you're not even thinking about the title because, well, first of all, you're just starting, and then second of all, your sister has the belt. Like, you don't want to fight your sister, I imagine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, is that the
Yeah,
idea? Just to get the experience right now, rather than not thinking about the title. I'll let her do her thing.
definitely. I'm just super excited to make my debut in a couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm just planning on racking up as much experience as I can.
Absolutely. And it's funny too because Angela Lee, right, your sister, she's got the record as the youngest champion MMA history, right? Across all organizations, the youngest person to hold a major world title. Are you thinking about that at all? Potentially trying to beat your sister's record, a little friendly rivalry there.
No ways, no ways, man. I'm just focusing on my own path and taking my fights one bout at a time, you know?
But all right, Victoria, I will leave you with one last thing here. Outside of fighting stuff and training, all that combat sports can bring, what are like some of your favorite things to do when you have some free time, like to watch movies, play video games, do some other sports? I know you mentioned soccer there. Like, what does your time away from MMA look like when you have some free time?
Outside of training, I love to cook the healthy meals, like actually good desserts.
Hmm.
And I love to spend time with my dogs, my family, and when I get the chance, I love to go to the beach.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. What is your favorite dessert to make?
Oh, just recently I started making these before fight camp, these mochi donuts, and that's my new favorite.
Oh, hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, give it a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next time.